Hey guys, this is Leo here from Dean Winchester. So a lot of fans, including me, have been wanting John to come back to the show for a while now, and there's been hinted at for many years by the cast and crew and in conventions and stuff like that. And we never knew exactly when he'll come back. And honestly, I didn't expect him to come back this soon because he always mostly hinted at, oh, before the show ends, I'd like to have like one final cameo to have some closure with the boys in the final episode or something, which obviously I didn't want it to ever happen because I don't want Supernatural to ever end, like most of us anyway. So it came to me as a very pleasant surprise that he was announced for the 300th episode, and I wasn't really worried that this means the show is ending or anything because I know it is a special event. And if they're bringing Jeffrey Dean Morgan back earlier than what he's been hinting at, that's not the end or anything, or even near the end, it would be for a special episode like that. And it's definitely a big pleasant surprise for me and all the fans who are excited about seeing John back. I know a lot of fans hate him. I'm not one of those fans. I actually really like John. He sacrificed his life for the boys. He did the best he could with what he had. He wasn't perfect, but who is? All the people hating on John, they're not perfect either, so I just don't get all the hate he's been getting, and I believe that's a big reason why they're bringing him back, and that's what I'll be discussing in this video, because there's a new article by Entertainment Weekly talking about exactly why John is being brought back now. I'm gonna read you some quotes from the article by the showrunners and discuss those reasons and comment on them. So, first of all, Robert Singer, co-showrunner, says, quote, that the 100th episode was just an episode. The 200th episode was so special, it was bold and great. We knew we weren't necessarily going to top that, so we said, what would make the fans happy? What would they like to see? Bringing John back. So we sort of built the idea around that. Well, that's nice of them, but a lot of fans actually didn't want to see John. Again, a lot of haters, but we're gonna focus on the positive in this video. I'm definitely one of the fans who want to see John back, and I'm excited to see him coming back so soon. Like, next episode is the 11th episode, right? Because we just saw the 10th one, mid-season premiere. So we're gonna have only 2 episodes from now to go till the 13th episode of the season, which is going to be a 300th episode. So coming very soon, and from what I'm hearing about, it's going to be a very emotional, nostalgic one, which I really love because I've been missing those classic days of Supernatural with just the boys, and John had a cameo appearing every once in a while. Their main focus was finding John. There was no, the big mythology of heaven and hell, angels, demons, archangels, Lucifer, all of that stuff. Apocalypse, there weren't any of that in the early seasons, particularly season 1 to 3, with John's storyline ending by season 2 when he escaped hell and helped boys kill Azazel, Yellow Eyes, and then it started slowly developing into something else. Dean going to hell, sacrificing his life for Sam, and then going to hell for it, and then the angel story gets introduced at the beginning of season 4. And it gets all, apocalypse-centric all the way to the end of season 5. And obviously for all these years till now, it's always been apocalypse after apocalypse and big storylines with angels and demons and all of that. But it all started with just the boys, 2 boys, that's it, searching for their dad. Very basic. Getting revenge on their mom, killed by Yellow Eyes, obviously. Those are my favorite days of Supernatural, the classic old days of Supernatural. I know they're not gonna come back, but it doesn't mean I'm never gonna stop preferring those days to what we have now. It also doesn't mean that I hate what Supernatural is now, it just means I prefer the older days. I believe it was a much better show back then, better writing, directing, stories, all of that. Much more focused. Now it's all over the place, but it's still led by the 2, main boys. Sam and Dean, is always gonna be about them. J2, there's so many other characters now, detracting the focus away from them, which I really don't like. So this episode kind of brings it back home, which I'm gonna read more about in this article to you guys, and it's looking better and better the more I read about it. So again, Robert Singer says that the episode will be very John-centric, with co-showrunner Andrew Dabb adding, The 300th episode is in a lot of ways for Sam and Dean about home. You're dealing with two guys who, when this story started, and for the bulk of our show, never had a home. It was motel rooms and Impala, and they've had a place you'd stay for a few weeks or maybe a few months at a time, but that's pretty much it. Now Sam and Dean have a home. They have a family and they have Lebanon, and that's really where the idea started. Like, okay, what does the town of Lebanon think of these guys? And conversely, what do Sam and Dean think of the town? And then when the idea of Jeffrey Dean Morgan was floated, it was great. Because not only is it awesome to have him back for a number of different reasons, but it's thematically consistent because suddenly it's about home. It's about family, it's about having that family dinner, it's about coming home in a more emotional way. So to comment on this part about the boys never having a home and now they really have a home and family in the form of a bunker, Cass, Jack, Mary, Bobby too and all of that, I actually disagree with that. I believe the boys always had a home. It's called Baby. Like they said in season 11, Baby is home. So I definitely disagree with that. I actually don't like the bunker, which could be an unpopular opinion. I prefer the days where the boys went town to town, road trips on the road, having adventures. Babies basically their homes, but they also stayed all over the place, which always added this dynamic element of excitement to the show. It's always new scenery, new people, Now every single episode starts with a bunker. They're going back to the bunker, they're starting with the bunker. At the end of the episode, they talk in the bunker. It's almost non-existent where they talk by Baby anymore. Remember those dramatic, beautiful brotherly moments where after every hunt they talk by the Impala? I mean, it's not like they never do it now, they still do occasionally, but now it's almost exclusively in the bunker, those talks between the bros. And I actually don't like that at all. It's very boring to me that it's always the same setting. I like new settings. To see the boys go to, all over the US, road trips, all different motels, different people, different hunts, different monsters. Now it's all the bunker and all the same stories about, hey, let's hunt Lucifer, let's stop Michael, let's, stop the next apocalypse. It's no longer like this adventure element of two brothers on the road that Kripke created back in season 1, almost 14 years ago. It's no longer there, unfortunately, so the magic is gone. That was the magic of the show. Now it's all over the place with dramas, almost like a soap opera, and I see a lot of fans actually agree with me in the comments about that. It's more like a soap opera now, with all the drama between characters, especially the multiple characters we have now, instead of just the two bros with occasional cameos from some other people. Even John had a cameo when he first appeared, and we were fine with that because the main focus was on the boys. Now it's everyone else alongside the boys. Yeah, so that's another rant I always talk about when I talk about the classic days of the show. We're gonna focus more on John in this video, but Deb kind of touched on that, and Singer when they talked about the Impala, we talked about the bunker being their home now. I prefer Baby just being their home, and different motel rooms being like new adventures to them constantly on the road. So the article goes on talking about, well, they last saw John in season 2, like I said, when he escaped hell to help them defeat Azazel. Now when he's coming back, the boys are older and dynamics have shifted as far as, father to boys, because now their father figures to Jack, and at the same time it's gonna be, they're gonna play the role of sons again to their father, but it's gonna be obviously different this time because they're older. It's no longer young people in their 20s. They're, one of them is 40, the other is almost 40, at least in real life. So Andrew Deb adds, quote, "The way you react to your dad when you're 25 is much different than the way you react to that person when you're 40. The fact that the guys were older now and could have different reactions to John was what made it exciting, because they're not going to have the same conversations they had in season 1 and 2 of the show." Yeah, which kind of what I was just mentioned earlier about the boys being more mature, older now. They're not gonna be exactly the same, like young, obedient children to John they were at first, especially Dean. And I believe Sam will also get his closure with John as far as, they're always butting heads, but they kind of made up towards the end of John's run originally on the show, at the end of season 1. And season 2 he didn't have any dialogue when he escaped hell, so he kind of like said goodbye silently to the boys, which was really a beautiful moment in the show. But now that he's coming back, it's gonna definitely be a bigger moment of closure, actual words this time, he can talk. It's not like a ghost, he's not, he's not gonna interact with just feelings, he's actually gonna talk to them this time for sure. So it's gonna be a big Jean-centric episode, like they said. It's gonna be a big moment for closure for the boys, but that doesn't mean the show or Jean's story is ending anytime soon. And that's what the article goes on to talk about. It doesn't mean the ending is coming soon. And the showrunners, Deb adds, quote, "They finally get some closure with their father in a way that doesn't feel like the end of the show. It's not like, and now roll credits, we'll never see you again. It feels like it allows these guys to put some, not all, of their 14 years of baggage down and move on to the future, maybe with some new knowledge, maybe a little bit more unencumbered. Because if you had just brought him back and it had been like, and then they go and hunt a demon together, it wouldn't have been satisfying." So yeah, I understand where Deb's coming from with that quote, as far as, it's not another bringing back another parent to go hunt with them, kind of like what they did with Mary at first. They did have the dramatic conversations, of course, but they kind of focus more on, hey, mom is back, let's deal with that by hunting together, pretending like nothing's weird is happening, back in season 12. By the way, they originally wanted John back, not Mary, from my understanding from, Jensen Ackles quotes and conventions and stuff. He talked about this in details, as far as wanting John back instead of Mary, but Jeffrey D. Morgan wasn't available at the time to do anything, so they brought Mary back. So that's what we got. So this time is gonna be the whole family together, obviously, for the first time ever, really. John, Mary, and the boys, having family dinners together, talking, having fun, having dramatic moments. Obviously, it's not gonna be for very long because it's only one episode for now, as far as getting John back, because he's still on Walking Dead, right? So he's not gonna have time to be like a regular on the show, or even a semi-regular. I don't know if he's gonna appear again this season at all at 300th episode. I honestly doubt that, but at least I got some hints from that article that it's not gonna be the end of John's story just because he came back for one episode for closure. That doesn't mean that's the end of it. And that doesn't mean it's the end of end of Supernatural's coming soon either, as far as John coming back for closure. As JDM said before, he wants to come back towards the end of the show. You don't have to worry about that, guys, because he explicitly said in the article that it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean John's story along with the show is coming to an end, which I'm very happy to read because this made me much more comfortable now. I don't have to worry about it either, because obviously I don't want the show to end anytime soon, just like most fans of the show who still love the show, still following the show. I know some fans aren't following the show anymore, and some of them actually come to my videos to comment how much they hate the show now, and it should end, this show should have ended 5-10 years ago. Well, why are you watching my videos then? Why are you still watching the show if you are actually watching the show? You just come to hate on the show and the videos, and that's all you do. It's pathetic, to be honest. So that's why I think if you support the show, just watch it, keep watching, please do, it's awesome. It's not as good as it used to be, but still an awesome show, one of the best, one of the top shows on the CW. And it was our support, real fans of the show, watching the show constantly. We can criticize it, but you don't hate on it. That's the difference between being a fan of the show and being a hater of the show. So that's just a mini rant I went on, but it does really bother me when people just come to hate on the show and they don't even watch it. They just watch the clips or, the actors talking about it, and they're like, oh, what is this craziness happening? The show is so bad now. Well, don't watch it then, but don't come to just hate on it. You probably never were a real fan of the show if all you do is just hate on the show, right? So yeah, this was the article, guys. Again, very positive article about the show continuing on, regardless of John coming back soon or not. So I'm very happy to know that, to read about that. Let me know what you guys think of the article and the news about John down below in the comments. What do you think of John's return in the 300th episode of the show? Are you excited for it? Are you not a big fan of the show? Are you one of John's haters? Whatever, if you are, I'm very excited, and a lot of fans are. I believe most are excited for John's return, actually. Let me know down below your thoughts, subscribe for more awesome Supernatural content. Till next time, as always, no chick flick moments.
I couldn't have done it without your pathetic, self-loathing, self-destructive desire to sacrifice yourself for your family.
Awesome. That's awesome. Right. Right. Come on.
You know what? You're awesome.
Thanks. You too, I guess.